finish the remaining part. So in this part, I'll be talking after the general agriculture sector overview. In this part, I'll be briefly mentioning the collaboration activities related to agri-tech industry in Turkey. Okay, actually there are many micro level innovative initiatives and collaborations related to agriculture and agri-tech in Turkey, but they are not sufficient or maybe efficient enough to accelerate an integrated macro model of agriculture. So I'll be briefly mentioning about the types of collaborations, partnerships available. We can see, first of all, public-private partnerships. In the country, there are approximately 20 regional agriculture government research institutes. They usually partner with private companies. Institutes are involved in R&D practices. They develop, import, genetic materials, technology, whatever. And the institute provides this knowledge or the products developed, the seeds to the companies, to the private companies. In turn, they receive 3 to 4% of their revenues and use this for funding new R&D activities, and this goes on in a loop. There are agricultural cooperatives. They assist farmers on input supply, purchasing, production process, and sales types of activities. They further provide information about the agri-tech. There exist different types of cooperatives, such as agricultural development co-ops, integration co-ops, credit co-ops, and so on. Some are also good at cooperating with universities, but in general, as we said before, academia and business or these types of cooperative relationships are not very strong. Agricultural biotechnology, our colleagues will also mention in further detail. Actually, Turkey has a potential for biotech. There is some knowledge base, and especially a large variety of plants that are genetic resources. There are an increasing number of research institutes and companies that utilize biotech in agriculture. I can give some examples, but to save time, I'm skipping those. About international collaborations again, there are quite a number of international cooperations which are at government level, public institutions level, as well as private sector level. For example, one of them I mentioned here is the Leader Farmers Project. It's a collaboration among Turkish and German chambers and societies of agriculture, where the governments are also involved. This project started in one city. After its success, it was diffused to almost 10 more district cities. And on the average, we can summarize the result of all the project members as 90% of the project members stated that they made savings on agricultural inputs. 70% of them produced new products, and so on. There are a limited number of non-government organizations that are related to agri-tech. Some of them can be named as ecological agriculture organization, organic products producers and manufacturing, and some private foundations. ICT for agricultural productivity, actually I want to skip this because our consultant company will be giving the details about it, but there are activities related to this also. And there are also some works going on in adapting the important technologies to local markets. Here we have a few companies that are leading, almost, one of them is almost among the world leaders of figs and cherries exports. In turn, these individual examples show the potential for collaboration and capacity building related to agri-tech in Turkey. However, although there are these individual activities, as I said before, we cannot develop a sound, stable macro model of it, related to maybe some weaknesses or some that we could have a look all together. So the final part of my presentation is about a short SWOT analysis that can give a general overview. About the weaknesses, Gökhan already listed them as problems, so I'll just skip it. Looking at the strengths of this sector, among the highest priority strength is maybe the climatic and geographical diversity, which also leads to biodiversity in the country. There is sufficient agricultural land and also labor force. Among world leaders of more than 10 crops, which is already mentioned, accommodating agriculture-related industries in the country, increasing number of international collaborations in the sector, and increasing amount of renewable energy utilization. These are some of the major strengths that we can list, and in terms of weaknesses, as I said, Gökhan already listed the problems. What about the opportunities and threats? Among the opportunities, we can mention the new national agricultural policy in Turkey. It is specifically talking about land consolidation. As we stated before, there are many small farmers with small amounts of land. So this new policy will be supporting land consolidation. And another important characteristic of this policy is basin-based support model. So the farmer will better know which products to plant at which parts of the country, at which times, and so on. Another opportunity is increasing the amount of land exposed to irrigation systems and technological developments in subsidiary industries such as food industry, ICT, and logistics that this sector can also benefit. On the other side, about the major threats, we can list as unsustainable agriculture policies in the country, pollution of land and water resources, abandoning land or utilizing it for non-agricultural purposes. Furthermore, changing demographics in the suburbs and decreasing interest in agricultural production among the younger generation. Of course, it's not a generalization, but in some places we see this trend. And finally, bureaucracy and regulation-related barriers to researchers in universities or private sectors might be also decreasing the rate of development in the